This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to episode 20-something of Too Old to Game. I'm your fear-filled host, Dave Oster. I'm joined today by the Mark Weber.
Dubbed Denise.
And the original man himself, Ricky Widmer.
I think we're at 26. Yeah, 26.
That's fine.
Episode 26.
I'm going to continue to be, generally in the right area. I'll let somebody else correct
20-something is a pretty wide area, though.
Yeah, it's within 10.
I also like how I said, we say it's 26, and I said the last one was 25.
That's true.
Correct.
That is correct.
That's how numbers work.
Nobody acknowledged it.
Man.
But I meant because it was...
You're both right.
I thought it was interesting because on our Christmas week one was
25.
24. No, it was 24. The one after was 25. It would have been really cool if it lined up.
That is a shame. Honestly, we should plan better, guys. We should start this 1 week early.
Now we'll always remember this episode is episode 31 because that Christmas episode was 24. The next one was 25. Then we went to 26.
Oh my
and
god!
Just continue every episode.
We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the dev team of Second Dinner, the Ex-Hearthstone devs, spinning up their own game, getting a pretty nice property, pretty nice group backing them right now, enjoyable, and then Blizzard seemingly doing only wrong as of late. Like, they continue to make wrong move after wrong move.
Just wait till April.
Activision steering them into the ground.
April Fools, everybody. We're going back to everything that we didn't do the last 4 months.
Oh, yikes. It's going to be bad. And then, of course, Fortnite, World of Warcraft talk, as always. Mm-hmm. But, boys, let's get into it. Let's get down to the dirty. It's funny, because it's Blizzard, but these are ex-Blizzard people. Mm-hmm. These are, we used to be with Hearthstone when the game went live. That's the team of Second Dinner. They are some of the creators of Hearthstone devs, like the original Hearthstone devs. They split off, formed their own team, and they actually got the property for Marvel. So they're going to make a Marvel video game.
Yeah.
Are you guys intrigued? Because I feel like this is one where I'm like, I trust the devs. Hearthstone was a pretty solid game on launch, and for honestly a long time, it's been a steady property. So what are you guys feeling about this?
I've always liked it. I've always liked the game. It's been fun. It's the kind of... I have issues with card games in general because if you don't keep up with the game, you're going to fall behind all your, potential opponents.
Yeah.
You'll fall behind everybody. I think I've said it on this podcast that I was playing with a friend. I introduced her to the game, and literally, the first time we play, I kick her ass, of course, because she has a way weaker deck. Like, a week later, apparently she played it a lot, and she had a much better deck than I did. And it was like, oh, this game isn't fun anymore, because now I'm the one that's losing.
Or if they just spent money. Hey, I'm going to drop $100 on this and get all the best cards.
They could do that as well.
Yeah, and I always make that point of I'm not going to... If it's a free game, I don't want to spend the money on it because the game was free and I'm one of those assholes.
Oh my god, Mark, you're so so ridiculous.
Because it's a free game. I'm not gonna spend money on it.
I feel like you're one of those people who you pay hundreds of dollars for a smartphone and then you don't spend any money on paid for apps because you're like, why would I spend money on them? I paid for the phone. If there's
not a free version. I mean, I got, I don't know, was Balls free? I feel like Balls was free. Balls was free. What's that other game that I played recently? Clash IO or something like that. Whatever. It's the one where you just try and take over the map. Mm-hmm. That was free. I'm all about free games if I can get a free game. But speaking of the smartphone stuff, this probably is going to be a mobile game.
Potentially, yeah.
It should be. I think somewhere in the article I saw that they were talking about a mobile idea or whatever that they were excited about. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I hope it's not just another deck building game. Because after their success, everybody tried to do their own version of a deck builder, and it's cool, but there's only so much you can really do with that to an extent. I feel like they've already done it.
Yeah.
I want to see something different. I don't want to just see a 2.0 of this, the same old game.
Hearthstone reskinned with Marvel names on top of it.
Yeah, oh, cool. Now I have all these kind of henchlings and stuff like that. Henchmen. So I'd love to see them do something different. But it worries me because I think of what's that game that you and Johnny used to play on Steam, that Marvel game?
You're talking about the what was it? It was Marvel Alliance. Was that Marvel Heroes?
Marvel Heroes. Like, I don't know if it's just going to be something like that.
The one that shut down. Like they said, nope, we're done. We're shutting all the servers down.
I didn't have fun. I played it like once, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I hope it's something better than that. But I mean, that's kind of my first thought with a mobile game, because even though that we played that on Steam, it felt very mobile. I don't know. It's just easy to mess up.
Ricky?
See, I'm looking because the first thing I did was I had the same thought as Mark.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to know. Like, I don't want Hearthstone reskinned as a Marvel one. Plus, one of the commenters in one of the comment sections on one of the articles was like, "Oh, another deck building game for Marvel. They're just gonna have their little own monopoly and deck building games and card games." I am looking at the company that they got the $30 million from, NetEase. Some of the licensed online games that are listed here, they were caught, what's the word I'm looking for? Involved with the relaunch of World of Warcraft in summer of 2019, StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, July 2013, Hearthstone 2014, Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3, Overwatch. So there's a couple different ones. There's one here that says we'll assume the publishing of EVE Online in the Chinese market starting in October of 2018. And the last one was developed Diablo Immortal for the iOS and Android. So, I mean, for me, I'm looking at it and going, so is this going to be basically take your hosh-posh of it could be like a Warcraft game, it could be like a StarCraft game, maybe it's like a Hearthstone, maybe they do like a Heroes of the Storm type of game for Marvel. That's what it kind of looks like. Or they could just say, hey, we're going to do a Marvel mobile game, another one, just like Diablo Immortal.
I mean, I see why you have the concerns, but basically they just work as an intermediary, basically to be like, oh, hey, we want these games to launch over there. We need to go through the right channels because that's the way certain countries work. I start to get intrigued based off the idea of deck building game, but not in the traditional sense of what we think of PC deck building games like Hearthstone. I go to the other Marvel deck building game, Legendary, game that we've played multiple times. Mark, I don't know that you've played it.
I know I've heard you guys talk about it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, it's a fairly fun game. You know, as you go through, you build up your deck. As you know, villains come through town, you have to fight them, defeat them. There's different scenarios and there's different steps. So like maybe we could see kind of like a twist on that, where it's not the traditional deck building game where you know like Magic the Gathering Online is launched recently. Obviously, Hearthstone's out there. There's a lot of similar games that all seemingly have the same play style. So I wonder if, you know, everybody's expecting them to do the standard, take the template of, hey, it worked for you in the past. I don't feel like they're going to do that. I think they're gonna veer off course a little bit and do something a little bit different, a little bit extra.
I mean, for me personally, I'm feeling it's either going to be a mobile game or like a free-to-play computer game. Because the other thing I thought of was, as soon as you sent us the article, because you found it, Dave, my first thought was, oh, well, what about the Square Enix Avengers game we're supposed to be getting as well?
Never going to get it.
We are. Like, I'm hoping announcements are this year for it after the trailer. I think it was 2 years ago that they teased that trailer. But, I mean, there's that game. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you're developing this that's going to be your console game, your PlayStation, Xbox, and computer. This one, like, I just don't see them going Marvel, that is, saying we're going to give Square Enix this money for a console game, but also develop another console game.
Well, I think it's going to be mobile.
Yeah, well, I figured that it's going to be, because they got, like, Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Contest of Champions, where, to me personally, if it's, like, mobile, I would just see it like, another mobile Marvel game, and then never download it, because, like, I see the commercials.
You don't care about gameplay at all.
I see the commercials.
You just
for
think
the
platform
mobile
shit on mobile.
No, I see the commercials for the mobile game, and I
was gonna say that's what I was gonna go to.
Don't have the kind of the energy for those games. And it's always like a couple months. Oh, here's another new Marvel mobile game, and that's what it seems like.
And just to put this quote out there, I don't remember what one of these guys said it, but Second Dinner says, we think there's a huge opportunity to make deep, satisfying games that are optimized for mobile. and we're currently working on a game that we're really excited about. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be mobile. They're doing a bunch of stuff here. They're trying to hire like 10 to 15 people to grow this company, but they say that they've got something that they're excited about, and I wonder how far along in this development process they really are, because there's a big movie coming out pretty soon with Endgame, and are they going to try and just match up with that? Because that feels like something that I think Marvel would do. Marvel's really good with their marketing and their not crossplay is not the right word, but they're cross branding and things like that. So do they go and get themselves a mobile game to match up with Endgame and really kind of finish up this big Infinity War Avengers, insane blockbuster that they have going on?
Or depending on, and I know they are hiring a couple of positions right now. One's an artist, one's an engineer. So I have to agree with you on it's got to be in flight, but I wonder if it's something for like, I know this is more of a Rick and Johnny thing, but as they transition out of this current cast of characters in the Marvel
Phase
Universe.
4, they're getting the X-Men characters. They're getting Fantastic Four now. I wonder...
What better way to open up the universe?
Is it going to be everybody, though? It could just be, hey, we're developing an X-Men game. And with me, if that's the case, all right, I'm kind of listening. Because the whole thing that I'm looking at, and I look at the last 2 mobile games, Strike Force and Contest of Champions, they both are kind of the same. Like, I know that Strike Force kind of has a story that you follow along. Like, you're one of the foot soldiers, and you build the team around you, where Contest of Champions is the collector has all the Marvel heroes, and you basically got to collect your team, and you fight against each other. I would like something different. If it's an X-Men game solo, that might get me to listen, because it's just one cast of characters rather than another mobile game that entices every single Marvel
just trying
character.
to plug characters in for shilling, basically, at that point.
That's Marvel's MO.
That's what I'm concerned with.
With games, that's what they do, is they just put as many of these big names as they can on the screen, because it just makes people happy.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that definitely concerns me, because when you have such a property as vast as Marvel has under their universe cap, it kind of turns into, well, we want to make money. And how do we make money? Well, we can drop something else with somebody else's name on it on top of this. Yeah. And then just keep building on with more names, keep rolling out more characters. So that concerns me. But on the other hand, they did talk about, we were looking to prove to people that there's a deeper world to mobile gaming. Like, that kind of a quote kind of pushes me to hopefulness. And that's where I think I want to end that one on, because there's got to be some hope for mobile gaming, because all we do is shit on it as of, I was garbage talking last week, Ricky, just now, like, I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to play your shitty games.
And I do think there's a lot of, like I've said before, I think last week, there's a lot of great mobile games out there.
Yep.
People just don't necessarily take the time. There's also a lot of crappy games out there, too.
I think that's the problem, is the volume of shitty games trying to grab money is so high on the marketplace.
And it's a little bit more saturated just because it's and developer people can get mad at me, but it's a little bit easier to jump into that than it is to jump into, hey, I'm going to develop this game for the PS4. But there's shitty games on every console.
Well, because you also don't have to get like Sony's approval to get it on that system. You can just make the mobile game, and as long as you have like the codes working, it's a lot easier to get it on like the Apple Store than it is PlayStation.
There's definitely some shit out there, but there's also some really awesome games out there. So, like I said, I think, once again, last week, if we can get somebody to do a really good mobile game and really get everybody in, the last one was Pokemon Go, then it's just going to happen. I mean, as time goes by, more and more people are going to play on their phones and have their phones be a bigger part of their gaming experience. Just look at China, just look at Japan. It's already happened over there where people play on their phones. That's what they do. So mobile gaming is so big and can grow a lot more here and will grow a lot more here. I don't know that
Mark is the advocate,
is going to be the company that really does it. But hey, you know what?
They seem to have a lot of hype around them, and they seem to be really good guys, really into their product right now. And that's everything you want to see out of a dev team trying to prep a game. So good luck to them, and I would look forward to what they're going to come out with. I'm going to probably, like, whenever it launches, I'll probably be talking about it, at least just to follow up on this story, just let you know where they landed at. But let's move on to our second topic of the day. And it's, yet again, we went Ex-Hearthstone devs. Now we're going directly to the beast itself in Blizzard.
Yeah.
They're kind of taking it upon themselves to moderate Twitch chat, which I am thinking they maybe are crossing a line here. Basically, the problem as Blizzard views it is that players are being overly vulgar. They're using racial slurs, and they're saying a lot of things in Twitch chat that they don't want their game associated with. And this is not just fans in general. They've had former players, they've had current players who've said things and gotten punished for saying things in Twitch chat before, or, well, live streaming even. So what Blizzard is doing, and right now it's in its dev phase, it will be tested out basically until January 12th this year, and they want you to link your Blizzard account to your Twitch account, and that way, if you say anything in Twitch while watching Blizzard's properties on this one channel, it is potentially up for recourse. Like, you could be punished if you say some things that, Blizzard views as not appropriate for the game. I mean, this seems like a really overreach on censorship, and I am honestly really concerned about what they're trying to force here, because I don't see any positive to this. This is seemingly only negative.
Well, I mean, I do see the positive in the sense of if there's lots of racist comments, sexist comments, and things like that, then yes, there's no argument that, I mean, there is arguments out there, but I don't agree with any argument that's saying, like, no, let these people say these super racist things.
Freedom of speech
does not apply to private companies.
There's already so here's the thing. There's already mods in the channels.
Yeah.
Both bots and human moderators. The bots, basically, you can type in, I don't want these words to be said.
Yeah.
And it will just never show those words in your channel. Super easy to set up, and I know they use them already. Then the human moderators can go in there and remove comments, ban people, block people for a certain amount of time. So, I don't know. For me, it just seems like an overstep. Like, are you concerned?
I
have
no problem with it.
Really?
I do.
Of you.
Well, it's one of the things where I think of this. If you're going to go out there and you're going to say a racial slur, you're going to say sexist things. Like, I'm looking at an article now, and I'm trying to figure out in these articles if it happened because it mentions here that she has in several streams attempted to verify herself. There was in a minor league overwatcher, minor league overwatcher, who went by the name Ellie. And many people in the comment section were continuing to just question her gender, say some kind of non-appropriate things from what the articles I'm reading says.
Girl on Twitch, yeah.
And I look at, like, if you're going to say that, you can have a moderator go, yeah, you're banned. Okay, I'll make a new email address, a new Twitch account. Boom, I'm back in the game. Whereas if I have to link it to my Overwatch account, then it kind of is
not just Overwatch.
Well,
all
Blizzard.
of your Blizzard properties. They can revoke your access.
Doing that, though, it tells you, hey, if you're going to act like this, there will be repercussions. You like playing our games, we don't want you in our community if you're going to be like that. So
the problem is there aren't guidelines to what is and what is not acceptable. Well, so what if you start talking badly about the game? What if you talk about the bugs and Blizzard doesn't like that? Blizzard starts to knock you for that.
But I'm not talking about that side. Of course, there's got to be guidelines.
Like 1986 on this. Like this is a level of censorship equal like
1984.
That one, yeah.
I don't think I don't think that is Blizzard's MO. I think Blizzard's MO is just to not make it a toxic.
Now, that's the thing.
Activision.
Every step they've made so far since joining with Activision,
I don't see it as them going, hey, you're bashing our game, we're going to silence you. I see it as, hey, we've all heard the horror stories about some Twitch comment sections.
Oh my God, they're terrifying.
And how
we've
horrid
all played
they can
online
be.
games before.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen and we've heard and
the average age audience on Twitch is for most of these is pretty low, and that's one of the things where you don't get that, like, people don't think a lot. My problem is just once it starts, it sort of is scary that we're allowing
slippery slope.
Yeah, because there are no guidelines.
To an extent, I agree with you in the sense that, it's one thing to say, there's part of me that says, well, Dave, they haven't done that yet.
Right.
So don't get upset about something they haven't done.
I shouldn't.
But at the same time, I do 100% understand where you come from of like, well, of course they haven't done it yet. because they haven't gotten to that yet. Yeah. They haven't done any of this yet. It just is that slow, gradual thing. I mean, they'll say that with the old adage about your taxes. Your taxes aren't going down; they're just going to keep going up and up and up. You give a little, or you take a little, and then you take a little bit more, and you take a little bit more. Sure, I get that, but I do think that this is just kind of an economic thing here. Of if people don't like it, YouTube is there. People can switch to YouTube streaming. If Twitch is really and part of it's just I know that this is more Blizzard, but
I think
Twitch
this
and
is
Blizzard
just for
are getting this relationship together.
Overwatch League and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, if people are upset with Twitch and Blizzard doing this together, because it's not like Blizzard can do this on their own. It's Twitch's platform. Yep. Twitch has to allow them to do it. So people are mad at that. Then another streaming service can pop up because that is something that happens. It's not like Twitch has been around forever. And if you don't really like what Blizzard's doing too at the same time, then it's a classic vote with your wallet situation. If it really gets to a point where it's upsetting you,
I mean, Blizzard stock has dropped 40% in the last, I think, 6 months. I mean, everything's been going down because the stock market in America is kind of crazy right now. But point being that Blizzard's not exactly been doing too well on their own. Yeah. And I think the way they frame it as an argument, you'd sound crazy going against it. Like Ricky said, of course I don't want hate speech in my Twitch chat. Of course I don't want people harassing people verbally and saying terrible things to people. Like, who would want that as a thing? I just don't like the fact that now that they have potentially control over all of my transactions that I've made on my Blizzard account, that there could be repercussions against all of that without having anything directly as far as here's what you say or can't say that will get you in trouble. They could see something you said and be like, oh, well, I'm going to close out all of your Blizzard accounts. But, well, I've spent a decade on World of Warcraft. I've spent hundreds of dollars on Heroes of the Storm.
Isn't
I've spent,
the easiest
all this stuff.
workaround, though, to make a dummy... Is it still Battle.net? Blizzard, Blizzard account? So
and
just make a dummy one and then link that instead?
But you got to restart from zero in every game that you've played.
No, but
you're not
it's a second account just to comment on.
Yeah, you're making an account so that way if you get banned, that account's getting banned.
And you can, but that's not like... There are always going to be loopholes. Yeah. My point is that them coming out and saying that, this is their intention and this is what they can do, it's the what they haven't alluded to that scares me. I mean, it very much falls in line with, like, how in Korea, like, everybody's kind of locked into, like, you have to use yours. I think it's basically their equivalent of a social security to register in a lot of games. It's like, oh, well, this is only for the South Korean market. Like, they don't want international people playing these things. I know things get out and people start playing with each other's accounts, and it kind of gets really interesting. But that's a whole thing over there. China, everything's basically, it's like memed badly at this point, but like it's all tied to you as a person. Like everything you do, you have a social score. Like there's just a crazy level of censorship and like repercussions out there in the world already for what you do. And I think that Blizzard going up with Twitch, honestly, is one of the like, I didn't think I would see it. I just didn't imagine that, oh, yeah, you're going to let this company use, your streaming service. Cool. And that's I love Twitch as a streaming service, but it's being propped up by Amazon entirely. And you're going to say, yeah, we're cool. If you don't like the way people are saying things in this channel, then you can go ahead and punish them on your own platform. But I feel like that's just a lot of free way to go there.
I guess, but I still stand by... I mean, the part of me that's always a believer in you have your freedom to do whatever until you've abused it and it's gone type of a thing. And I think this is one of those things for the gaming community. Like, you guys had your freedom to say all the stuff that you wanted and look at all the things you've done. How often are we as a community being looked at as trash and garbage because of the things that a vocal minority says?
It's true.
We kind of lost the privilege. In that case, we've abused it, and it's not everybody.
Yeah, you're punishing the many for the voices of the few.
But that's kind of the way it goes, and sometimes you kind of have to accept the fact that that is the way it goes, whether it's, I don't want to say whether it's right or not, but whether you agree with it or not, when those people are really tearing everything down, that's just kind of something has to be done. You can't just sit there and say, well, we're going to let everybody say all this terrible stuff, to where just recently, this is not gaming, this is going to acting, but Did you guys watch Bandersnatch? Snatch?
No. Nope.
Okay, so there's an actor in it who's been in quite a few things, but people were mad about Black Mirror's episode. Some people were, and people were harping on this kid. And I don't know if he's a kid. I really don't know how old he is. He looks really young. But they were making fun of his appearance, and he got off of Twitter because people would not stop bullying him. And that's exactly that type of thing. We've seen that with streamers that have this happen. We've seen it with YouTubers where people, they put themselves out there and people are merciless to them. And those are just the kind of things where it's like, sometimes having this freedom of speech is not always a good thing. And if it's a government agency that's coming at you and telling you not to say anything, yes, we have crossed a line. That is a different story. But when it's a private company, if you're really not into it, don't watch Blizzard's channel.
There's two things. Well, that's one of them. I'm looking at the comment section here on the Polygon article, and one person says what you just did. Like, either one of two things is going to happen. One, people just won't watch it live because they're going to be like, I'm not...
Or won't join the comment section.
And that's the other one. Or won't join in on the comment section but still watch it. There's an interesting one here that I kind of like because we're sports guys, and that's what we first built the channel on.
Yeah.
And it says, it's like getting banned from the stadium. Act like an asshole, and you aren't welcome back. And I look at that and I go, yeah, it's kind of right. When you're in this comment section, you are in the kind of stadium. If it's a like Overwatch league, you're in this stadium. If you're going to act like an asshole, you're not going to be welcome back. I also, maybe it's the teacher in me, I do like the, hey, we're going to link your Blizzard account to this because now you've got some skin in the game. Don't act like an asshole. You'll lose your shit.
It's the Twitter egg.
It's basically
it's
like
the Twitter egg.
Twitter
eggs always say a bunch of shit. It's either they're Twitter eggs or it's a beautiful woman who there's no way that's them. And it's just one of those like the being anonymous is really a terrible thing. It's awesome.
It allows,
and it's really terrible. I mean, you guys remember things like those Ask type of websites, FormSpring, things like that. The anonymous, all those anonymous questions.
Yahoo questions.
And we all were terrible people.
Yahoo answers,
to everybody and everything. And like, you saw those type of things. I have multiple friends. Well, I don't know if acquaintances is probably a better word for it.
There you go.
In high school, who like this type of stuff pretty much destroyed their self-confidence, a lot of that. And being anonymous is a wonderful thing for a lot of reasons, and it's really terrible for a lot of other things. And it's just one of those things where I think we might be getting closer and closer to an internet age where you really aren't going to be anonymous anymore.
No, I think
that's not a bad thing.
And it kind of like the thought that I've been having while we've had this conversation is basically the youth that is coming up now. Like we were young, where like Twitter came out when we were in college, I want to say. Like we weren't even in, or it might have been late high school. Where Twitter came out. Because we started in the MySpace.
Yes,
craze.
MySpace people. Was
the beginning of my high school in 8th grade. Was
2006 was when Twitter officially started. So we probably got 2007. So late high school.
And I know, like, me personally, I was always anti-Twitter until a couple years later, like, I got to college. I'm like, oh, wow, Twitter is not really that bad.
We had to use Twitter for
I enjoy Twitter. I do not publicize.
Dave don't tweet.
Dave don't tweet.
Dave don't tweet. But, I mean, the other thought that I popped into my head, too, is, well, let me finish that one first. So, the kids that are coming up now, they're just going to be groomed into, because you notice how, and maybe this is just me, most of the people that are like, oh, I'm going to say whatever I want are kind of like our age, aren't they? Where it's like, hey, I'm going to say it, because we grew up with that anonymous forum,
it's all kinds of ages.
Where it's like, I feel like eventually the generation will grow up and just be like, well, you know what? I am not going to make that stupid decision because I'm going to ruin everything. I mean, I'm going to ruin my life.
Have you met teenagers before?
Yeah,
they're not thinking that far ahead.
Well, maybe that's the teenager I was. That's how I think about
I think that you're being a little generous right now. They do not think ahead. Because I mean, adolescents just in general. I mean, that's psychology. They do not have the ability to think that far ahead.
The other point I was going to say is it's kind of like, think about our channel where we have a comment section on every video.
Yeah.
I look at this being like the same way we kind of funny, any Philly D would moderate their comment section. Of course, we've had comments in the past where it's like, hey, this guy's being an asshole. Delete the comments, hide the user. You're no longer like, you think you're commenting, but we don't want you here. Like you are creating a toxic atmosphere. And that's what I think, that's maybe what I hope that Blizzard is doing. They're all, because the one quote that they have is they want to make it a positive viewing experience.
Yep.
The only question is, like, if, let's say you come in and you're saying, like, how the game is crap and da-da-da-da-da, my first point would be, like, is this the forum for that?
But
like,
it's forum that garners the most attention at the time.
But is this the forum for that? There's also the side of the protest side of basically everyone has the right to protest, and maybe they're doing it to get the eyes on it. But then there's the other side of maybe that's something where it's like, hey, just hide that comment. We're not going to take action against your Blizzard account. They're only linking your wanting you to link your Blizzard account unless you're one of those people that says like racial slurs, sexist slurs, to where they can bring the hammer down on those people.
I think the easiest thing to put most people at ease would be to clarify what statements they're trying to avoid. Like what is on the, like, hey, this stuff won't be tolerated. Anything else, we don't really care what you say. But this stuff, no, you're done if you do this. Like, if they come out and publicly list that, I'm going to be fine with them for the most part. Like, I don't mind that. As far as to your point about, you know, if this is the right form or whatnot, like, Twitch chat is so organic. It's its own thing that I would love to, like, analyze, like, go deep dive on, because you watch that during major events, and honestly, joining in Twitch chat, or at least just watching the event with Twitch chat going live, is more enjoyable than watching it just on its own. More enjoyable than watching the product itself without that. Like, it adds value to your streaming. And I 100% think that by starting to limit what they can say, what they can't say, and I get it, I don't want terrible things said either, but, like, if we cross a line, I think that starts to knock on the product, and it starts, you know, making people, like Mark said, maybe you're less, you know, likely to go on the Overwatch streams and go, you know, keep up with that stuff, which leads to a decrease in your viewership on their end, decrease in viewership on Twitch. Like, there are repercussions out there on their side for taking these actions unless they make it very clear what their intention, what their scope is, because
it's
that's
if they cross the line. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know if they're going to yet either. But the one thing I will say though about that is, once again, private company, they can do whatever they want. Within reason. But if they do say we're trying to create a positive experience, we're all sports fans. We're watching a Bears game or a Vikings game if you're terrible. For this is a different kind of podcast. We're Bears fans.
He's a
Vikings fan. Just in case anyone is not also a sports fan. But anyways, so nothing sucks more than watching the game and you're sitting next to that guy who's just yelling about how the team sucks and about everything's terrible. And, oh, the owners are terrible. Oh, he threw another intercept. Why didn't you run it? You know, all those type of things. Are you kidding me? Like, nothing sucks more than being next to that guy, right?
I don't know, Mark. I might be on the other side of this one, because, like, I watch football with the Reddit live streams up for, like, the comment sections for the game threads, just to read the reactions of any given play, because I'm like, I wonder if other people are thinking down the same line, or if I want to join with that. I think in person it's 100% different.
Well, you're talking about actually being at the stadium, right?
I mean, that's the point I'm making, but what I'm saying is, I'm talking about the positive experience. If you're trying to create a positive experience, there's nothing really positive about someone being there just shitting on it.
Right.
You know, and I do think that, you know what? I don't 100% agree with with Blizzard being like, well, if you said anything, you know, oh, the game is buggy, delete. I don't 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone comes in there and they're like, this game sucks, why are people watching it? This game blows. Play Call of Duty instead. Yeah, delete that fucking shit. Get that person out of there. Because why? Well, why are you there wasting your time and energy?
And here's the thing I just want to say, because the conversation has gotten to
logically.
Is, well, not just that. You're like that last one, like, play Call of Duty, that's better. Like, I don't think these are not for channels if, like, we went on and streamed. This is for you are watching an Overwatch League event which is a Blizzard event, and that's the comment section they're looking at. So maybe it's because I'm thinking logically as well. I wouldn't go into that thinking, oh, play this game instead.
No, people go there to mess with people.
That's my point, though.
Like on Fortnite streams, you see like dead game, like
right, exactly.
failing game.
So, I mean, if you're talking about creating a positive experience, I would say that the person coming in here saying this game sucks is a negative experience. So you know what? There's justification to say we will get rid of that comment.
And I mean, getting rid of the I think the thing that's got everyone like their panties in a jumble is the whole like linking the Battle.net account.
You can delete my comments all you want. I don't give a shit. But if you start
every single
bringing
thing,
repercussions to the table,
every single thing is not going to be against your Battle.net account. It's just going to be if you're that guy or girl who takes it too far. Or then here's the here's the consequence. Maybe you do it enough, and it's like you get a warning from Blizzard.
Like I said,
and then you keep doing it.
Lay out the ground rules. I'll be happy. I'll at least understand more. Right now, coming out with a very non-clear statement about, hey, we want you to do this thing so we can clean up Twitch chat. It sounds great as a PR release, but if you read any further deeper into that, you're like, so what are the things that we can say? What can't we say? Like where are the lines in the sand?
But isn't that hard too? Because if you say you can't say this, and that, they go, fine, I'll say this, and that. That mean the exact same things.
No, but I mean, like you can say like no racial slurs. You can say no, no harassing terms, no whatever. Like you can lay out enough there to build a framework of these are the things that would create a toxic environment that we don't want to exist in our Twitch streams. And I think that that's not asking too much from them to put out there. We're all making assumptions on what they should be doing. But if they would come out and say it and then give us an idea of, hey, here's the consequences. If you do this, we're going to do X.
That's all I'm asking. I sit at the side, though, and this is just me thinking of their side. I wouldn't want to paint myself or back myself into a box of like, I said this is it. Oh, fuck, he did that. Well, it's technically not in that box, but I didn't think of that, so it should be in that box. Where this is such a gray area. It's not black and white.
No, I totally agree.
That's why I don't really care about them coming out. Eventually, I feel like as it happens, we'll get a sense of like, okay, this is what to do, what not to do. I just come with the basic knowledge of don't be an asshole, and you'll be fine.
But people like to troll on Twitch, and that's part of the environment. And you can't just ignore. I don't want to even take a guess at the percentage of the audience out there who just likes to mess with people. Like I honestly don't do it, but I know there is a decent sized audience for it.
If they don't want trolls in their comment section, that's up to them. Like
and
so
I would say
that's the question. If they don't want trolls in their comment section, that's up to them. Do you see this starting the groundwork for other companies to work with Twitch to do similar things? Because League of Legends is one of the largest users of Twitch for all of its major events. And they pull in the hundreds of thousands for their main events, and it's a great time, and Twitch chat is going a mile a minute, but you see it going, and it's great, and it's part of it. And I wonder, do you think this sets a precedent?
I would say yes. And the thing that also comes back into my mind is, first off, this is going to be the guinea pig. Other game companies are going to be like, let's see how this works.
Sit back and watch.
But the one that comes into my mind is, and Mark, I'm going to bring you into this because I know you and I have had conversations about how they do this, but like kind of funny. And their whole like idea of their comment section is they call them the kind of funny best friends. Where I know that Mark and I have had a discussion of like, well, how can I call you my best friend when I don't hang out with you, Greg? Like, we're not hanging out. Yeah, I watch all the videos, but it's like...
It's a very one-sided relationship.
Yeah, it's very one-sided. Yeah. However, if you go into their comment sections and into their, like, Reddit forums and stuff, if someone comes in and starts to, like, troll or starts to be an asshole, they call them the kind of funny best friends. They just all, like, just start, hey, we don't do that here, and start to, like, basically police the... comment section, and I think that's what Blizzard wants to get to, and this is just the beginning of it. You have to lay down the hard kind of line in the sand of, hey, there's going to be consequences, and then eventually as this goes on, they will mold that chat section into what they want. But right now, everyone's just freaking out because they're like, I'm going to lose my Battle.net account?
It's censorship.
No, you're not going to. Well, and we don't, like...
Censorship and unknown repercussions are scary things. I'm going to freak out a little.
We don't know, and I will bet that they will not take away Battle.net accounts if you say something bad about the game.
Could they
I am
suspend
not
them?
sitting there. I don't even think they'll do that. I
But
think they're
even if they
targeting
do,
the
let's say they
hostile
do right
trolls.
now, it's going to be the same stuff that happened when Xbox, the Kinect would pick up on people swearing, and it was a huge sensation.
2K
and that
technicals?
doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
That was honestly the funniest thing. Watching people get a technical foul in
Let's
2K.
just say it happens. Let's say that you say this game sucks and you get banned. All of your games are gone now. You post it on Reddit. You're telling me that's not going to be
Who's
the
gonna
number
take your
one
side?
thing on gaming?
Yeah.
It's going to be, and
Yeah.
Blizzard's going to get shit for it, and they're going to stop doing it. They're going to fix it. If the market
Tone deaf is
against,
arguable, but yeah.
if it's going to cost them money and things like that, then they're going to do it. They're a company. Just like the whole censorship and stuff like that. They're a private company. They can do that. You know, this is not a shot at Dave. It's a shot at everybody in general. When people talk about freedom of speech, when they talk about the right to protest, when they talk about these things, they need to understand what those actually mean.
Yep.
They are protections from the government. They are not protection from private companies, which can do what they want. Whether you agree with that or not, because I am not always a fan of private companies being able to do exactly whatever they want.
Yeah.
But that is the ground rules that we're in. Those are the rules we're playing by. So they're going to do what they want, but we as consumers have a lot of fucking power. If we want to take down a company, we can do it. But the problem is, as we talk about the gaming community, we never unite for anything. You know, when we talk about how shitty Activision is with their pre-orders, when we talk about these microtransactions, you know, when we talk about unfinished games, we still pre-order the next game. We still buy the microtransactions.
Yeah, same cycle. I mean,
exactly. Like
the outrage hits, and it's like, ooh, shiny new thing over there.
Exactly.
Here's my money.
If we could actually unite to something, we would have a lot more power. And I wonder if maybe, just throwing this out there, taking a shot at getting rid of constant trolls and stuff like that might actually be a good thing for the gaming community. Because really, besides the person who might be in our comment section right now trolling us, besides the people who are actually trolling, what real value does that actually provide?
I can't answer that as I am not one, but I'm one of those people. I'm like,
I mean, there
right.
are plenty of funny trolls out there. There are plenty, and there are a lot more that are huge dicks.
Oh my god, yeah, I absolutely agree.
But
I think that about wraps it. Ricky, any closing thoughts on the matter?
I'm going to go back to what I said. Don't be an asshole and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's
Like,
a general.
that's it.
That's the rule of life, though. Like, if there's one rule in life, it's just
like,
don't be a dick.
if only more people followed that rule.
Yeah.
I'll go back
Just don't
to
be a dick.
what you said about the guy at the stadium. I remember when we were kids, we were at the Sox game, and there was this guy in right field bitching and just nagging at Trot Nixon,
Getting a little
who was the
belligerent
right
out there.
fielder of the Red Sox.
Yep.
And at first you're like, oh, that's funny, drunk guy yelling at Trot Nixon.
Yep.
And then by like the seventh inning, you're like, okay, dude, just give it up. Like, come on.
Yep.
Like, you're saying the same stuff over again. It's not funny anymore. I'm not having a good time because I have to listen to you yell at him. So it's like,
You're having a negative experience.
exactly. And that's what I am thinking, trying to clean
But
up.
at the same time, if they start to do things that they shouldn't be doing that collectively people don't agree with, speak out, act, do something.
Yeah.
Because if you let them get away with it, they will get away with it. If it's something that you really, truly are opposed, then yes, protest it.
And I'm going to come at it from the teacher side. Now that they've put the line in the sand and said, if like you disobey, we're going to hurt your Battle.net accounts, you can't back down from that. It's the same way in like a classroom. Once you say that there's a punishment coming, if it happens, you have to basically iron fist and bring it down at that point because
Talk is cheap.
basically, yeah. And then if you don't do it, the comment section will be like, cool, we can do whatever we want now.
Well said, Ricky. Well said. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode or any other episode of Most Valuable Podcasts catalog, please check us out on iTunes. We love the love, and we're trying to get up on the rating. So if you could go ahead, give us a 5-star rating or whatever you think we deserve. I'm biased. I think this is a 5-star episode. But thank you guys so much for watching, so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.